Please welcome to the stage Senior Product Manager at Yotpo, Lior Haimovich.
Hello. How's it going? I'm really excited to be here today. Before I start, it's actually not the first slide. Okay, never mind. The first slide disappeared. But before I introduce myself, I want to say really a huge round of applause for the Shopify team who organized an amazing conference. So really, I want to give it up to them. So thank you for inviting me. It's by far the best Unite I've ever been to, regardless of the fact that it's my first. My name is Lior Haimovich. As you can see, I'm a senior product manager at Yotpo, and I've been part of this amazing journey of building products and experiences for consumers for the past 3.5 years. And before I kind of dive in, like a survey, question for the crowd: who here knows Yotpo, ever worked with Yotpo, has an integration with Yotpo? Okay, that's good. So for those of you who don't know who we are, Yotpo is an e-commerce marketing platform. We have 5 different products. We have over 1,000 employees, 7 offices worldwide. We power some of the biggest Shopify brands out there: Patagonia, Steve Madden, Princess Polly, and many more. And what we do, in a few words, the same way as Shopify is making it easy for people to build and run and grow their business, we help these business owners with providing our tools, reviews, loyalty programs, SMS communications, to create these amazing experiences for their consumers. However, it wasn't always all that, so I want to kind of take you back to the early days from where it all kind of starts from. So to me, more than anything, the story of Yotpo is the story of these 6 founders, which in 3 different continents, speaking different languages, in a different timeline, they built and launched an app on the Shopify App Store. So I want to tell you their story, how they each kind of grow to become a leader in their category and become successful, and how their success comes together to create the whole story of Yotpo. And you might ask yourselves, why am I telling you this? So I've been speaking to a lot of you in the past 2 days. I met a few people who just started and built their first Shopify app. I met a few with already a running company with 30, 40 employees. I met somebody who just sold his company. So I think in their stories, you'll see the similarities between what you are doing and what they're doing. And throughout the stories, I'll also share the decisions that they're making, the strategies that they're taking to build the business, and then we'll finish up with some tangible tips from the founders themselves on how to grow a successful business. Sounds good? Yeah, okay. So our story begins in Tel Aviv, 2011, with Tomer and Omri here. You can see how lovely and young they are. They just finished university and they want to start a business together. At that time, Tomer, he needs to buy a camera as a gift for a friend. So he goes online, he reads some reviews, he picks the camera, and it turns out to be the biggest piece of shit that you can imagine. So he's kind of confused. So he goes back to those reviews that he read, and he realizes that actually a lot of those reviews out there are fake. So from that kind of pain point or from that bad experience comes the idea for the business. So they want to create trusted experiences for shoppers buying online. And the way to do it is to build a tool which they give to the brands to collect trustworthy reviews and then display them on their store. So they look for what platforms out there are enabling these brands to build these stores, and they find this nice platform that has some cool APIs. You guessed it, Shopify. So in 2011, they launched their first app, Yotpo Reviews, on the Shopify App Store. And for the first few years, it's really not about the money. So they're all about kind of growing adoption and active monthly users. So they're building these features who are innovative, and they're working with Shopify's capabilities to make it easier for merchants to use. So features like the in-mail form where a shopper can submit their review directly through the email, and these amazing-looking widgets that, thanks to Shopify, are being injected automatically into the merchant store. So fast forward to 2015, Yotpo now is a 50-employee company, making money already, but at this point, Tomer and Omri, they feel like the product is kind of mature enough, and they kind of want to take it up market. So that year, they decide to open an office in New York where they build the first go-to-market teams. We'll take this product and we'll sell it to the bigger brands. And since they make this decision, over the next 2 years, the company is growing a lot. So headcount grows from 50, even though Brianne said headcount doesn't matter, but still, headcount grows from 50 to 270 employees, and annual revenue grows from $1 to $20 million. So at this point, Tomer and Omri, they pat themselves on the back. They feel, okay, we've done a good job, right? We've built a pretty solid business, but how can we maintain this growth over the next 5 years, over the next 10 years? They think to themselves, well, when it comes to the buyer journey, we've kind of conquered reviews or user-generated content, but if you think about it, there are so many other touch points that brands have with their shoppers throughout this journey. And brands back then, and also somewhat today, they use different apps across the different touch points, and for the shopper, it creates this disconnected experience where they interact with different apps across the different touch points. And so from that thought, or from that realization, kind of comes the idea or the vision for the platform. So what if we can grow the business by adding more products into our offering, putting everything in one place, and then have these products kind of communicate or talk to each other, so we can create these synergetic experiences across the different touch points of the buyer journey. So think like integrations between products, but something much more from out of the box, something much more fundamental. So now the question is, okay, which category, which touch point do we want to start from? What other companies are out there doing a really amazing job? So this brings us to our other founders. We have Josh and Jim in Boston. We have Georgi and Mikhail in Sofia, Bulgaria. And they're starting to work on their kind of business ideas, business adventures. Josh and Jim, they have this idea of using Bitcoin and use it for e-commerce payments. So they go to a few merchants and they pitch this idea, but merchants don't really like that idea. They say, our customers don't want to use Bitcoin to make purchases. So Jim says, what if you incentivize them to use it by giving them these loyalty points or brand points? And that's actually the idea the merchants like better. Can we just use these points for other things, like incentivizing them to make a purchase or liking our Facebook page? So kind of after talking to the merchants and getting the validation that they needed, that their idea is actually not the right one, they're being redirected to what merchants actually need. In 2015, they launched their app, Swell Rewards, on the Shopify App Store, an app that lets you build these loyalty programs for your shoppers. And in the meantime, on the other side of the Atlantic, Mikhail and Georgi, they're building some products of their own. In the years 2014, 2015, they're building these various modules and plugins for various e-commerce platforms. They make some money, some fail. In 2016, they tried to build an email marketing tool, and it's kind of a failure, let's admit. But from that failure, they kind of look to the side and they see that SMS actually has a lot of potential. And if they kind of act quickly, they could be the first SMS marketing tool with an abandoned cart automation. So in 2017, they shift their focus to SMS, and they launched their app on the Shopify App Store. And I guess many of you might feel like this these days. The beginning is hard, so it's a hectic life of being, the developer, product, marketing, support, everything at once. And to kind of overcome this, all of these 4 founders, they're focusing on 2 strategies that really help them grow. And it's actually funny because I saw Matt's presentation this morning, and actually these two strategies are the number one and number two in his presentation. So what they're doing first is integration. So they find these tech partners, these leaders in the industry, the best agencies, and they create these integrations with them, these collaborations with them. And the second thing, they're really diligent on maintaining a high rating on the Shopify App Store. So, first year or two, they're answering all the support tickets themselves. They're basically support agents in part-time job. And they realize that by doing these two things, organically, their business is growing really, really fast. So they invest in these two strategies, putting a lot of effort, a lot of work. And within 2 or 3 years, both companies, they become a leader on the Shopify App Store in these two categories. And Tomer and Omri, who are in the meantime looking for opportunities, they want to expand the business with this vision of consolidation, of entering to different touch points of the buyer journey. They take notice of these two great companies, and they start thinking to themselves, well, if we had all these three products, we can create these experiences that we envision. We can incentivize with loyalty points a review request or subscription to SMS, for example. Or we can create these segments of, somebody who left a review has enough loyalty points to redeem a coupon and engage with SMS. So with that in mind and the vision of consolidation, they reach out. In 2018, they meet Josh and Jim. Josh and Jim at the time were this close to signing a fundraising agreement. But instead, they speak to Tomer and Omri, and they're kind of convinced that the best way for them to grow the business is to join forces. In 2020, Tomer and Omri meet Michael and Georgi. And at that point, they don't even want to sell their business. But again, they meet with Tomer and Omri. They hear about this idea, this vision of a platform, consolidation, the possibility of growing their business much, much faster. And they too join the Yotpo family. Now, we have these three products. We have all of these in our offering, but creating these synergetic experiences like we envisioned, it's not that easy. It just doesn't happen overnight. We want these products to be talking to each other, but we have some challenges we need to kind of overcome first. We have developers in different time zones across the world, writing in different coding languages. We have 3 apps that are connected separately to Shopify and then maintaining all of their data in a different database somewhere. We have 3 apps that don't even look the same. They have completely different user interfaces, so it's going to be hard for the brands to actually connect the dots and create these experiences that we want. So I joined Yotpo 2019, where these foundations of becoming a platform are kind of being laid out. And I remember that even though we had all of these challenges and we have people all around the world, we had some common ground to stand on. So the first, we're all aligned on the vision, on the long-term play here of becoming a platform, creating these synergies. And the second, and it might sound a cliche because it's a Shopify conference, but we kind of all spoke Shopify. We all knew the same terminology. We shared the same expertise. So this really helps us to kind of boost development and get there quicker. So we start tackling these challenges one by one. In terms of coding languages, we had backends written in Java and Ruby and PHP. We had frontends in Angular, React, and Backbone.js. And we need these products to be talking to each other. So we introduced a layer of REST APIs wherever we needed like a product-to-product direct communication. And we added a Kafka infrastructure for when we needed this one product producing an event that is later consumed by all the other products. And today, even if you look at our UI today, you'd see that we have different components that behind the hood, some are Angular and some are React. The second thing, the apps, they're connected separately to Shopify, and then their database is in a different place. So how can we share the data between these 3 applications? So the next thing we do is we introduce this unified data layer where all 3 products are kind of pushing their data into, and then on the other hand, it is connected to Shopify, to the e-com platform. And with that, we can have this one holistic view of a consumer. So for a single person, we know how many reviews they've left, how they engaged with SMS campaigns, how many loyalty points they have, and their order history from Shopify. So And then on top of that, we can start drawing insights. We can create these sophisticated segments with all of these data points, and we can later use them in all the different products. And the third is we have 3 separate apps that don't look the same, right? You can see here. So we rebranded all of these apps kind of under the new Yotpo brand. And then we took the 3 separate user interfaces that you can see here, and we've put everything kind of under one look and feel, and with a new UI that you can actually navigate between one product and the other. Whew, okay, so we conquered several challenges, and now we finally get to the point where we can create these synergetic experiences that we envision. So this is an example that I like that really demonstrates it in a good way. So this is Jane. Jane is a repeat purchaser at skincare.com, and she just made another purchase. So 14 days later, Jane receives a review request to rate the product that she just bought. And the brand is also incentivizing her with some loyalty points to leave a review. In the review, Jane is mentioning that she has a dry skin. After she leaves the review, she gets the 100 points loyalty reward, and she now becomes 1 purchase away from unlocking a gold VIP tier, which gives her free shipping and some other benefits. 2 weeks after that, the brand is now launching a new product, which is perfect for people with dry skin. So they go and they create this segment of all of my shoppers who have dry skin, who left a review, who have enough loyalty points to redeem a coupon, and then Jane, being part of this segment, she gets the text message, and in that message, it is also mentioned that if she makes the purchase, she actually unlocks this gold VIP tier, which kind of incentivizes her to make the purchase. Okay, we're done, right? So not quite. When it comes to kind of our vision of the platform, and you saw the slide from before with all the different touch points, it's really just scratching the surface. So with that kind of vision of expanding, and with our Shopify first approach, just a few months ago, we released a new product, Yotpo subscriptions, that allows merchants to sell their existing products on a recurring basis. So if we kind of go back to Jane's example, if she now clicks the link from the SMS and goes to checkout, instead of buying this face cream where she usually buys a new one once a month, she can now buy it on a monthly subscription and save some money. And if you remember the slide from before, this is where we are now. We have 5 different products in 5 different categories across the buyer journey, but it actually looks less like this. It looks a bit more like this. So we're really focused on retention solutions. So we see now that the customer acquisition cost is really, really high. So what we want to help brands do is strengthen their relationships with their customers. So transforming every buyer to a repeat purchaser. I think subscriptions is maybe like a great example for that, but every new product that we will want to add should help these brands do just that. And it kind of even goes without saying that every new product or new category that we add should seamlessly synergize with all of our other products to create this bigger than the sum of its parts experience. And before I wrap up, I want to kind of go back to the founders themselves. So when I prepared this presentation, I spoke to them and I asked them to share some tangible tips for people who will be in the room today that help them kind of grow their business. So from Tomer, start with a niche and conquer it first. So this, if you think about Yotpo as a platform and doing all of these things, it might sound like we're not doing that, but all of the founders that I shared the story today, that's what they did. That's how they became great, right? And even at Yotpo as a platform, we still have our niche for retention solutions within all of these, the world of many, many different touch points. From Josh, so many things are going on at once, so find the time to take a step back and think strategically. So for them, he said it was very easy to kind of get carried away in the day-to-day, but they used to do it on the weekends or during lunch breaks. They used to kind of take a step back and look at the full picture and ask themselves the questions like, Are we building the right features? Are we acquiring the right customers? If not, what do we need to change to actually do that? From Omri, always try to innovate and bring actual ROI to merchants. So this may sound a bit trivial, but if you think about it, today it's so much easier to build an app than it was when they started 11 years ago. And that also means that the competition is much more fierce. So what Omri is saying is, try to find these differentiators or these barriers that will make it harder for others to kind of just copy-paste what you're doing, and always make sure that it's actually bringing value to merchants. And the last tip that really resonated from all of the founders, it's this. It's all about the partners. So leverage the ecosystem and partnerships. So you're all here in this conference, in the room, so it's a very good step in the right direction. And to quote Michael, one of the founders, you're already part of the Cool Kids Club. So I want to thank, again, the folks at Shopify who invited also me to be part of the Cool Kids Club. And if you think about it, this strategy was super crucial for all of these founders that I mentioned to grow their business, connecting to the tech partners, connecting to agencies. A third of Yotpo revenue today is coming from partners, and also the SMS and loyalty acquisitions came from this ecosystem. So the whole Yotpo story, really thanks to all of you in the room and to this amazing ecosystem. And I want to leave you with just, look to the people sitting to your left and to the people sitting to your right, or come talk to me afterwards, because really, who knows where your next opportunity might come from. So thank you so much for listening. Cool, and if you want to connect, this is lead you to my LinkedIn page, so feel free to DM or whatever, and time for questions. It's a post-lunch session, so yeah.
First of all, thanks for the talk. Really interesting. You said a third of your revenue at Yotpo is from partnerships. What's kind of your partnership strategy? Are you kind of organizing referral bonuses to do that? Is it more just kind of word of mouth?
Yeah, so we have a really big partners team who's in touch with all the different agencies. So we have a lot of different connections, and it's part of that. It's kind of a referral base. It's also the connection with with other tech partners. So if you want, I can also let you talk to one of our amazing partner manager teams. And
Amazing. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you guys so much, everybody. Pleasure being here.